There are some projects in the workshop that I keep revisiting, and the stand for the bandsaw, that's one of them. I want a bandsaw stand to be mobile and stable. The trouble is, those two things seem incompatible. This saw came with a nice stand, it's very stable, but hard to move when it's just on that. I made a wooden base for this with casters, made it really easy to move around, but even with them locked in place, it would wobble. So then I tried this. I went back to the original base, but I put it on a mobile base. This moves around okay, but with two fixed wheels, it's not the easiest thing to steer. With it locked down, I think it could be quite stable, but my floor is not that even, being wooden. And it has little adjusters, but I don't want to adjust them every time I put it in a new position. So out of movability and stability, what is more important to me? Most of the cuts I make on the bandsaw are with quite short pieces of wood. For longer rips, I tend to use the table saw. So the bandsaw rarely needs to be pulled out from the wall. So maybe stability is more important to me, but I want to retain the option of being able to pull it out if I ever need to do larger cuts, or just for some cleaning. So the decision is made, a new stand that's more planted than portable. And if I'm going to make a new one, why not make it a round space for the dust extractor that gets used mainly with this machine. Like normal, I want to keep the cost down, so I'm going to make it out of some 2x3. First job, I'm going to get all the bits cut down to the sizes I need on the miter saw. I like 3x2s because they're cheap. The trouble is they have rounded off corners, which makes doing any joinery with them a little tricky. So I'm going to get them all ripped off. To get all these bits joined together, I'm going to use some half lap joints, and to do it, I've knocked together a quick jig, more about how I did this later on. So I'm going to get one of my pieces, raise the blade up to just a fraction above the height of it. Then I can get it onto the jig and get it roughly centered. Now, I'm going to make a cut, remove the waste and check to see how the joint looks, and I'm going to sneak up on the cut. The plan was to sneak up on that fit, but I actually seemed to manage to get it perfect on the first go. I wasn't really trying to do that. That was a mistake, but a happy one. So now, just get all the others cut. Now I need to get this all glued together and clamped up. So you might have seen that this stand required a lot of cutting of half lap joints, which isn't something I do all the time, and I definitely needed a little refresher on how to do it. And that brings us to today's sponsor, Woodworkers Guild of America, who had just what I needed. Woodworkers Guild of America is your online resource for woodworking instructions, ideas and information. On their easy to search site, they actually had several detailed video tutorials showing different methods for cutting half lap joints. All of their instructional videos are taught by experts that walk you through their techniques with step-by-step demonstrations, so they're really simple to follow. For mine, I decided to use the jig method. Woodworkers Guild of America even have a tutorial, make a jig for half lap joints, showing how you can make your own jig. I followed that to make my own jig that I showed you earlier when I was doing these. As well as providing tutorials and project ideas, Woodworkers Guild of America also allow you to connect with fellow woodworkers, ask questions, share ideas and stay inspired. As a member, you'll have access to Woodworkers Guild of America's live streaming tutorials and Q&As, where their expert instructors share their tips, answer questions and engage with the Woodworkers Guild of America community in real time. The first 1,000 of my subscribers to click the link in the video description will get a full year of premium membership to Woodworkers Guild of America for only $1.49. Thank you to Woodworkers Guild of America for sponsoring the video and giving me the tutorial and information I needed for this project. Now I'm going to go and have a cup of tea and wait for these to dry. Right, let's get these clamps off. Now, I've left these joints slightly proud on the ends, so I'm going to grab a block plane and just trim them flush. Now I need to get these two frames joined together, and I've got some strips of wood I'm going to use to do it. So I'm going to cut a little housing into these to accept it. So I'm going to get that marked out and get the waste nibbled away on the table saw. Now I can get some glue on these joints, and I'm going to get the bits of wood locked in place with some screws. So this is the basic frame done. So I think before I go any further, let's get the bandsaw on and make sure it's actually all going to fit. So this stand is open at the front because I want to get the dust extractor in, but it needs a bit more support. And I can do that by killing two birds with one stone The bandsaw has holes in the top for locking it down. So locking it down will secure the bandsaw, but it's also going to strengthen this frame. So I'm going to get some coach screws put into place. So I have a new stand and I can move it around, but now I want to get it so we can lock it down. I'm going to get a batten installed on the back of this that extends out the same distance both ways. Now I can get a second batten installed, but on the back wall. So what these two battens will do is let me lock this in place, but still be able to move it in and out and pull it out into the middle of the room on the very rare occasions I need to do that. And what I have to actually be able to do this is some toggle clamps. So I'm going to get one fitted here at the end of the travel and one there at the end of the travel, and then we'll see where it can move to. There we go, that's it all done. So nice and stable now, and I can move it. So if I release the clamps either side, I've got it pushed up as far as it can go there. It can slide over here if I want more capacity. Then I can lock it down in its second position, stable again. But if I ever need more capacity than that, I can just release the clamps and pull it out to the middle of the room. But I can't see me need to do that very often. The other thing I wanted to achieve was some storage underneath for the dust extractor, which wouldn't fit before, as now that goes under there nicely, and get the hose lined up in the gap to plug into the bandsaw or to my thicknesser. So I think that's solved all the problems I had. So I'm pleased with this. It's nice and stable, the most stable base I've ever had. It can move if I ever need to move it. I've got more storage, and actually the base just has a smaller footprint, so the whole thing takes up less room in the workshop. Win, 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 win. So thanks for watching. Thanks to my patrons, and please subscribe for more videos.